Hello everyone, I am Shweta and welcome to my channel Analytics by Shweta. In today's video, we will learn how to highlight the above and below averages in Power BI. Let us have a look at our data model. Our data model is a simple data model having 4-dimension tables connected to our fact table highest data in a one-to-many relationship. Let's have a look at the contents of the highest data table. If you look, the highest data is the details of all the newly hired employees in our organization, and we have related details for them like grade, department, gender, country, age, and many more details. What we want to achieve in our example is that we want to compare the total hires for the month with the average hires for the year. And if the total hires for the month is greater than the average hires for the year, then highlight it in a particular color. To achieve that, we first need to have a total hires measure. We already have a pre-created measure called as total hires, which counts the hires data on the employee code. Now, the employee code is a distinct code for each and every employee. So, count on that particular column will give us a distinct count of all the employees in our data set. Hence, we get a distinct count of the hires in our organization. As we want to calculate the average hires, we first need to create a measure for the same. Let's proceed to do that. We will name it as average monthly hires. We use the average X. We use the values table on the calendar month name as we want it for every month of every year. And we use the total hires measure which we had created earlier. Let us add a table visual onto our report. Let us add the year and the total hires and the newly created average monthly hires over here. Let's create another table visual. I'll tell you in a minute why we are doing this. Let's create another table visual. And over here, let us add the month name. And once again, let us add the total hires. And let us add the average monthly hires which we have created here. We'll add a slicer and we'll add the year over here. And let us just convert this slicer to a tile. Now, if you look at these values over here, we have 3 years, the total hires and the average monthly hires per year. This is the correct information. In 2020, we had 5175 total hires, and that divided by 12 will give us 431.25. And this value over here is 3 years worth of data. So this divided by 36 would give you this value. Now let us look at it from a monthly perspective. Now to get a better understanding, I am selecting a year in the slicer. Now I have selected 2020. If you see here, the value is 5175, 431, which is the average for 2020, which is correct. But if you look over here, we are getting the same value across. Now, why is that we are getting the value over here and not over here? The reason for that is here we are looking at 1 month's worth of data. So 241 divided by 1 will give you 241 itself. But at the grand total, it is looking at 12 months of data. And that is why we get the correct answer at the grand total, but not at the individual level. What we want in our example is that if I am selecting a particular year, it should give me the average of 431 across. And if I select 2021 as 165 is the average, I want the value 165 across. And the next step what I would do is I would compare the total hires with that average hires. And then if it is above and below, I will highlight it in a particular color. So we need to rectify a measure a little bit so that we can achieve this. Let's do that. Let us create a new measure and name it monthly average is all selected. We use the calculate function. We use the average monthly hires measure which we have just created, and we use the all selected function on the calendar table. Let us go ahead and add this value onto our table visual. If you look at it, now we are getting the same value across for all the months. So it is 2020, you will get 431 across. If it's 2022, we get 313 across. Now the next step what we need to do is to compare this total hires with this average, and if it is greater or below, then highlight it in a particular color. Let's go over here and remove this measure as we don't require it any longer. So we need to compare this 500. If it is greater than 313, then highlight it in a particular color, else highlight it in a different color. So we need to create a measure for the same. Let us do that. We will create a new measure. Check above and below averages. We will create a variable and name it as average values. Here we would be using the new measure monthly averages all selected which we have just created. Now we will be using the switch function. Now as we want to compare the total hires with the average hires, we would be saying if the total hires is greater than the average hires. So we have used the variable which we have just created. Then give me a deep sky blue color. Else we are saying if total hires is less than or equal to the average values, then give me a light gray color, and we approve this measure. Let us go here and add this measure over here. So you will see wherever the values are above 313, we get the value deep sky blue, and the rest we get is as light gray. Now what we want to achieve is not these text values written here, but instead we want the numbers to be highlighted. So it should be deep sky blue over here, it should be light gray over here. So to achieve this, just select the table visual, go to cell elements, go to total hires, and enable the background color. Now you get the default background color, but this is not what we want. We want it to be conditionally changed. So go to FX and field value. And what field should we base this on? We should base this on the check measure which we had created. So the check measure is the one on which we use the switch function where we compare the total hires with the average values. And this is the measure which is doing that. So we select this. Now if you look at this visual, you would see 500 is in deep sky blue, 361 is in deep sky blue, and wherever the value is less than 313, it is highlighted in gray color. So this is the way you can achieve it in a table visual. We can remove this, and now you have the values completely. You can achieve the same thing in a table visual. You can go over here not in a table visual, I'm sorry. You can achieve the same in a column visual. You have to go here and add a column chart. In the x-axis, let us add the month name. And on the y-axis, let us add the total hires. So this again gives us the total hires for the month. Now we want these columns to be highlighted as per the criteria. So we go here, we go to the color, and here in the conditional formatting, again in the rules we will select field value and we will check above below averages. This is the measure which we have created. Now why is it showing blue across? Because this is showing 3 years worth of data. We do not have any slicer over here which is selected. Now if you look at 3 years of data, we get it as 303. So all the values are above 303, and that is the reason in the column chart everything is being highlighted. Let us put a slicer here. I have just copied the slicer from the previous page, and now let us start selecting. Now if you see, when you select by the years, you will get the answer. The reason you got it blue across when you have not selected anything is because everything is above the average higher. So everything is in blue. So this is how you will achieve it in a column visual. Now we can achieve the same thing in a line chart. So let us go here and copy this column chart and put here. So first you need to achieve these steps of getting it to the column chart. Now let us also select the slicer and put it over here so that we don't have this issue. Now once you do this, you can directly select the line chart. Select your column visual and just go to line chart. And here, once you see here, you would see blue and you will see gray. Let us change the line color to a different color so that it's more prominent. So now if you see, we have blues over here and grays over here. If we go to 2020, these values are changing across. And let us make the markers a little more prominent so that you can see it much better. Let us increase the marker size. And now you can see these values are completely more visually appealing and more prominent. You can use it across the slicer. We are seeing the same thing 2020. Again, we are seeing 2020. So if you see the same visual May, July, August, it's completely the same. May, July, August, completely the same. So you are achieving the same thing in 3 visual formats. You can use any of the visual formats as desired by your report requirements and show the data. Now we have used hires to represent our case, but you can use monthly sales, monthly profit, compare it against the yearly profit, and if it is greater, then highlight it in a particular color, or you can see orders in a particular store. If the monthly orders is greater than the average orders for the year, then highlight it in a particular color. So there are several instances where you can use this scenario. And this is how you achieve how to highlight above and below averages in Power BI. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for more updates. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.